With a face like this, it might be hard for you to recognize me for what I am. I'll give you a hint. Power suit, high heels, commanding, forceful tone. No? Still don't get it? That's okay. I know for certain that if you saw me sauntering around town in my beloved pair of cowboy boots, you'd get it right away. I, Carolyn Evans, am a bitch. In fairness, maybe you guessed it the second I walked in the room. I've been told my demeanor can come off as commanding and outspoken, which in slang terms essentially translates to bitchy. It's okay. You don't have to feel bad for admitting that you thought it. Ever since I was little, I've been somewhat of a connoisseur of the word. I've been creatively and continually referred to one for as long as I can remember, including receiving several speech ballots which have forwardly dubbed me as such. Unfortunately, the meaning of this word has become so convoluted it's beginning to infringe on my own identity as one. Dictionary.com, as of January 23rd, 2013, lists 17 different meanings for this single word, leaving many to wonder, what does it even mean? As of 2006, the FEC removed the ban for on-air use of this word, meaning now more than ever it's critical we discuss what this word means and how it's being used. So join me as we, first, bitch about the problems surrounding this word. Second, recognize that the cause of our problems is a real bitch, before, finally, coming up with some bitchin' solutions. In the 17th century, any smart woman would be labeled as a witch. And over 4 centuries later, apparently the only thing which has changed for independent women is a single letter. Herein lies the problem. Our society seems to label any independent woman as a bitch. During the 2008 presidential election cycle, Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton lost favor with constituents after media voices like Glenn Beck and Tucker Carlson called her a bitch on national media. Jeffrey Toobin, an analyst for CNN, fired back defending Clinton, only to be met by GOP consultant Alex Castellanos, who told CNN that under certain circumstances, it was okay to label women as such. What followed was a nationwide debate about whether or not it was appropriate to label women with the use of this word. Rationally, the answer is no, because that's incredibly degrading. However, in 2011, political commentator Andrew Breitbart faced national criticism when he called Nancy Pelosi a bitch. This illustrates 2 specific problems. First, this word has become a tool for men to use to degrade powerful women. And second, our society is just letting it occur. Despite brief stints of outrage, Beck, Carlson, and Castellanos all kept their jobs. And just 3 years later, Breitbart was allowed to perpetrate the same injustice. We're seeing misogyny occur, and rather than addressing it, we're just dismissing it. The Greeks have invented virtually everything, from architecture, modern language, to even theater. And bitches. Researchers at James Madison University, in a research paper published in spring of 2009, were able to trace this word all the way back to ancient Greece, where it was associated with the goddess Artemis, who was called the bitch goddess, which literally translates to goddess of beasts, as she would roam the forest in the form of a hound. In these times, bitch was seen as a sacred and revered title, because it was synonymous with the goddess herself. However, when Christianity came to Rome, in a shocking plot twist, the Christians and the pagans didn't really get along. The Christians invented the phrase, son of a bitch, which literally meant, you are the child of a pagan worshiper, so no heaven for you. From this point forward, the connotation of the word shifted negative, until the Victorian high society of the 1800s deemed it too impolite to use in everyday conversation. The word reemerged in the 1960s as feminists attempted to reclaim the word for themselves, but divisions within the movement itself failed to clarify the connotation of the word. In 2012, the debate has been reinvigorated, as rap divas like Lil' Kim and Nicki Minaj have referred to themselves as HBICs, or head bitches in charge, to symbolize their power. much to the confusion of the rest of the male-dominated industry. The researchers at James Madison conclude that even now the meaning of the word remains unclear, as it can act duplicitously. But such duplicity leads to misuse. It allows the speaker to use this word with every intention of being harmful, and then escape consequences because use of this word can be perceived or justified as okay. Our own failure to define this word has caused it to be used against us. Like Jay-Z, I too have 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. And using 3 simple steps, we can solve this bitch. So, step 1. We have to have clarifying conversation about what this word actually means. In order to accomplish this, we actually have to say the word and talk about it. I get that some people might feel that this topic is controversial or inappropriate, but after a millennium of confusion, it's time we clarify. You can draw a parallel to the popular novel series Harry Potter, when Hogwarts headmaster Albus Dumbledore tells his students to say the Dark Lord's full name of Voldemort, because it takes away from the allure of the word itself. Bitch is our society's Voldemort. And like the characters in Harry Potter, we need to grow a pair of sorcerer's stones and stop fearing the topic. Even Bitch magazine, one of the leading feminist publications in America, explains on their website that they chose to name their publication as such because they wanted to foster thought and conversation on what this word really means. We need to clarify the definition of this word, and the only way that happens is when we're brave enough to talk about the topic. Step 2. We have to stop weaving this word into our everyday conversation. For example, let's say I was riding in a really nice car, sitting in the center seat with all my friends on the way to a party complaining about the girl throwing the party. I could translate that to say I'm in a bitchin' car, sitting bitch, with all my bitches on the way to this bitch, bitching about this bitch. It's too much. Dictionary.com confirms that this word can now be used as a noun, verb, adjective, or even as an idiom. Language is meant to clarify, not confuse. So, let's be clear. If your girlfriend is whining because she's hungry, she's not bitching, you just need to make her a sandwich. If a woman has a successful business career, she's not a bitch, she's a boss. And if a girl is known for sleeping around, she's not a bitch, she's an entirely different oratory topic. We have to stop using this word in such a broad sense. And when we see people misusing this word, we have to offer corrective conversation. Using these tactics will help take away from the efficacy of this word at demeaning women. Step 3. We have to change our perception. The 1968 Bitch Manifesto, written by famous feminist Joe Freeman, argues that women shouldn't feel demeaned when called this word because bitch has become synonymous with successful. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg first enrolled in law school in 1956, she was one of 9 women in a class of 500. Her male classmates nicknamed her bitch. When asked about this nickname years later, Ginsburg just shrugged and said, "Better bitch than mouse." Ginsburg would go on to graduate co-valedictorian and become a Supreme Court justice. Simply put, haters gonna hate. Sexism exists, and men are going to try and use this word to hurt women. Chances are, if you're a woman in this room, you've been hurt by this word. I know that I have. But communication is a two-way street. We might not be able to change the speaker's intention, but we can change our own reaction to this word. When we reclaim this word for ourselves and treat it as a positive, we give power back to us and take it away from the speaker. And when we do this, we can truly take away from the negative potency of the word and give power back to women and make sure this word can never be used to hurt us again. A few months ago, I made the mistake of leaving my ID card behind in a class. I went back to retrieve my lanyard and found 2 high school boys playing with it. One of the boys placed my lanyard around his neck as his friend laughed and asked, "Whose is that anyway?" The boy laughed, looked down, and said, "Some bitch named Carolyn Evans." I promptly informed them that I was the bitch in question. Both boys began groveling with apologies, but I just laughed and asked, "Did you know that word is originally associated with the goddess Artemis?" Before saying another word, I turned and left, both boys, jaws on the ground, wondering what had just happened. In that instance of confrontation, I knew exactly 3 things to be true. I knew that, first, our society has a problem using this word to demean women. Second, a lack of definition has caused this word to be used against us. And finally, I recognized the solution was controlling my own reaction and offering clarifying conversation. Today, I no longer see this word as a bad thing. The most powerful women in our country all started off as bitches. And today, they're HBICs. I merely see my nickname as an indicator of my impending position in a league of extraordinary women. My name is Carolyn Evans, and I'm not just a bitch. I'm the head bitch in charge.